Have you ever felt tired of carrying a weight you can't even name? These 8 principles may be the moment you finally set it down. Have you ever felt that life moves so quickly that you barely have time to breathe? In the rush of everyday living, we often forget that the deepest journey we can take is not out there in the world, but within ourselves. Today, I want to share with you a path of 8 timeless principles that can transform the way you live, think, and even how you feel in your own skin. These principles are not abstract theories. They are living tools. They help us sharpen our wisdom, strengthen our patience, and grow a resilience that carries us through life's storms. Think of them as lanterns along a dark road, quietly illuminating the steps ahead, guiding us with a steady light. For example, when life challenges you, maybe a broken relationship, financial struggle, or the silent weight of stress, these principles remind you to pause instead of react, to breathe instead of panic, to see each difficulty not as punishment, but as a teacher. Isn't it true that sometimes the hardest moments in life reveal our deepest strength? One of the principles asks us to practice patience, not only with others, but also with ourselves. Imagine planting a seed. You cannot shout at it to grow faster. You water it, give it sunlight, protect it, and in time it grows. In the same way, when we are gentle with our own journey, we create the conditions for real growth. Another principle teaches adaptability. Just as water shapes itself to every vessel, we too can learn to move with life instead of resisting it. When you flow, you do not lose yourself. You discover new shapes of your being. This is how we remain strong yet flexible, rooted yet free. Together, these 8 principles form a compass for the soul. They remind us that true success is not only about what we achieve outside, but about the peace, clarity, and compassion we cultivate inside. If you stay with me, we will walk through these principles one by one, and perhaps you will see that the life you seek is already waiting quietly within you. We will now come to the first part of today's journey. Awareness, the foundation of all transformation. Awareness sounds simple, yet it is the key that quietly unlocks every door of growth. To be aware means to pause long enough to notice your own mind, to see the patterns of thought that run like hidden rivers beneath your daily life, to feel the emotions rising and falling within you without rushing to push them away or hold them too tightly. Think for a moment. How often do we act without really knowing why? We rush to check our phones. We react sharply when someone touches a wound inside us. We distract ourselves when loneliness creeps in. These actions feel automatic, almost mechanical. And yet, when awareness enters, something shifts. Suddenly, you begin to see, this is fear speaking. This is anger moving through me. This is my old habit replaying itself. Awareness doesn't demand that you fight these things. It simply asks you to see them clearly. Imagine walking into a dark room. For years you've stumbled, hitting your shins on furniture. Then one day you switch on the light. The room hasn't changed, but your ability to move inside it has. That is awareness. It doesn't erase your challenges, but it allows you to navigate them with clarity instead of confusion. In Buddhist teaching, awareness is often compared to a mirror. The mirror does not choose what to reflect. It simply shows things as they are. Clouds, sunshine, smiles, tears. In the same way, when we cultivate awareness, we become capable of looking at ourselves without judgment. This is not easy because many of us are afraid of what we might find inside. But the truth is, what we refuse to see only grows stronger in the shadows. What we are willing to face begins to soften. Let me share an image. Imagine you are carrying a heavy backpack, but you don't even realize it's there. You've grown so used to the weight that you call it normal. Awareness is the moment you reach back, touch the straps, and say, no wonder I'm so tired. You may still need to carry it for a while, but at least now you know. And with that knowing, new choices become possible. You might loosen the straps, set it down for a rest, or even decide you don't need it anymore. Awareness is also the seed of compassion. When you truly see your own struggles, you begin to understand the struggles of others more deeply. You realize that just as anger rises in you, it also rises in them. Just as fear tightens your chest, it tightens theirs too. From this recognition, patience is born, not as a forced virtue, but as a natural response of the heart. Ask yourself gently, When was the last time you noticed your breath without trying to change it? When was the last time you caught a thought as it appeared and simply watched it float by, like a cloud passing through the sky? These small acts of noticing are not trivial. They are the beginning of freedom, because when you are aware, you can choose. Instead of reacting blindly, you can respond wisely. Instead of being pulled by every emotion, you can remain steady like a mountain while the winds of life blow around you. This is why awareness is called the foundation of transformation, because no real change can begin without it. So today, as we begin with awareness, I invite you to try a simple practice. For the next breath you take, just notice it. Don't control it, don't analyze it, simply be with it. Feel the coolness as it enters, the warmth as it leaves. Let this awareness remind you that your life is happening right here, in this moment, not in the memories of yesterday, not in the worries of tomorrow, but now. This is the gift of awareness. It returns you to yourself. And when you return, you begin to walk the path of transformation with open eyes, steady steps, and a heart that is no longer asleep. Awareness is the first light that awakens us, but light alone is not enough. To walk the path, we must also take steady steps. And that brings us to the next part of our journey today. Discipline, the bridge between knowing and living. Without discipline, awareness risks becoming just a beautiful idea. You may recognize your patterns, understand your emotions, even see your habits clearly, but unless you act with consistency, those insights remain like seeds never planted. Discipline is the hands that press those seeds into the soil, water them, and return every day to tend them until they grow strong. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think of it as harsh rules, punishment, or forcing yourself to do what you dislike. But true discipline is not a prison. It is a kind of freedom. Think of a river. Without its banks, the water spills everywhere, flooding, losing direction. With the banks to guide it, the river flows with power, carving valleys, nourishing life, reaching the ocean. Discipline is the riverbank of your life. It gives form to your energy so it can flow where it is meant to go. Discipline turns knowledge into wisdom through practice. Imagine someone who reads endlessly about meditation, breathwork, or healthy living. They may understand everything in theory, but if they never sit down to breathe mindfully, if they never rise early to nourish the body, then all that knowledge remains a dream. Discipline is what brings the dream into daylight. And here's something we often forget. Discipline is most valuable not when life feels easy, but when motivation fades. It's simple to follow good habits when inspiration is fresh. But what about on the days you feel heavy, when the mind whispers, "Skip it, just this once"? Discipline is the quiet friend who takes your hand and says, "Stand up anyway." Over time, this friend becomes the strongest part of you. In Zen, discipline is less about forcing and more about returning. Returning to the cushion to sit in silence, returning to your breath when the mind wanders, returning to your values when temptation calls. It is the art of coming back again and again, even if you have to begin 1,000 times. And each return is a victory. Each return strengthens the roots of your being. Let me offer you an image. Think of bamboo. It bends in the wind but does not break. Its strength is not in rigidness, but in consistency of growth. Day by day, year by year, it rises tall. In the same way, discipline is not about perfection. It is about constancy. Small steps, repeated with heart, build a path stronger than the grandest intention left unfulfilled. Discipline also brings peace of mind. When you know you can rely on yourself, trust blossoms inside you. You no longer live at the mercy of fleeting moods or desires. You discover a quiet strength, a rhythm that carries you forward even in stormy seasons. This is why monks and practitioners value discipline. It is the ground beneath their feet, the rhythm of their breath, the heartbeat of their practice. Ask yourself, what is one small act of discipline you can embrace today? It doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe it's sitting for 2 minutes in silence before checking your phone. Maybe it's drinking water instead of reaching for sugar. Maybe it's simply pausing to take 3 deep breaths before answering someone in anger. These are not grand acts, but each one builds a bridge from awareness to real transformation. So as we step deeper into this journey, remember, awareness shows you the path, but discipline walks it. Together, they turn life from a series of unconscious reactions into a living practice of freedom, strength, and peace. Discipline is the force that keeps us walking even when the road feels heavy. But discipline alone is like striking a single drum beat. It awakens, it directs, but to create music, there must be rhythm. That is why, as we move forward, we will go to the next part of our journey today: consistency, the quiet power that outweighs perfection. Consistency teaches us a truth that often surprises people. Steady progress matters more than flawless execution. Many of us chase perfection. We wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect energy to begin. But life is never perfect. It is alive, shifting, and unpredictable. If you wait for perfection, you might never start. But if you choose consistency, even in imperfect steps, you will move further than you can imagine. Think of a candle. If you light it once and blow it out, it brings no warmth. But if you let it burn steadily, hour by hour, it fills the room with light. Consistency is that steady flame. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. But over time, it transforms the darkness around it. Many people struggle because they expect massive change from short bursts of effort. They push themselves hard for a week, then collapse from exhaustion and quit. But the truth is, great transformations are rarely the result of explosive effort. They are the child of small actions repeated daily. A person who meditates 5 minutes every day will go deeper than someone who meditates for 2 hours only once a month. A learner who studies a little each evening will surpass the one who studies all night before an exam and then forgets. Life rewards rhythm, not occasional fireworks. Consistency also builds trust, not only with others, but with yourself. Imagine promising a friend you'll meet them, and you do it day after day. That friend begins to trust you deeply. The same happens inside your soul. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, waking up when you said you would, drinking water instead of soda, writing a single page, you build inner trust. And that trust is the soil where confidence grows. Without it, doubt spreads. With it, you feel unshakable. It is important to remember that consistency does not mean rigidity. It is not about being robotic or punishing yourself for missing a step. True consistency has compassion woven into it. If you fall, you rise again. If you miss one day, you return the next. Like waves meeting the shore, consistency is not about never breaking, it is about always returning. That rhythm shapes the coastline of your life. Let me give you another picture. Imagine planting a tree. If you water it irregularly, pouring a flood once, then ignoring it for weeks, it will wither. But if you give it steady care, a little water each day, it grows strong roots, rising skyward. Your habits, your dreams, your growth work the same way. They don't need occasional floods of energy. They need the gentle rain of consistency. Consistency also frees us from the illusion of perfection. When you act regularly, mistakes become part of the process. You stop fearing failure because you know you will try again tomorrow. The daily rhythm absorbs your errors and turns them into lessons. And strangely enough, this gentle repetition often leads to mastery, the very excellence perfectionists crave but rarely achieve. So I invite you to reflect. What is one simple act you can repeat daily, no matter how small? It could be writing a single sentence. It could be taking one conscious breath. It could be stepping outside to feel the sun for a moment. Do not underestimate the power of these small rituals. They are drops of water that carve canyons, beats of the drum that create a symphony. As we walk further on this journey, remember, discipline gives you the strength to act, but consistency carries you beyond perfection. Together, they weave a rhythm that transforms fleeting moments into lasting change. Consistency, like a steady heartbeat, sustains our actions and carries us forward. But even the strongest rhythm can feel fragile when results seem invisible. This is where another quality becomes essential. With gentle strength, we will go to the next part of today's journey: patience, the art of staying steady when the harvest has not yet appeared. Patience is often misunderstood. Many think it means simply waiting, sitting still until time passes. But true patience is not passive, it is active endurance. It is the choice to keep watering the seed even when the soil looks unchanged, trusting that life is working silently beneath the surface. Without patience, discipline weakens. Without patience, consistency breaks. It is patience that weaves them together into something unshakable. Think of a farmer planting rice. He does not dig up the soil every day to check if the roots are growing. He trusts the process. He knows that nature has its own rhythm, unhurried, invisible, but powerful. If he gives up after a week because no green shoots appear, the harvest will never come. Growth of the soul follows the same law. When you meditate, when you build new habits, when you heal old wounds, the first signs may not show right away. But beneath the surface, transformation is taking root. Patience is the faith that allows you to keep going until the moment the green shoots break through. In modern life, we are trained for speed. We want instant answers, fast food, overnight delivery, immediate results. But the journey of self-development does not bow to speed. It demands a different time, the slow time of the heart. Healing cannot be rushed. Deep wisdom cannot be downloaded like a file. They arrive through patience, through repeated returning, through allowing life to unfold in its own rhythm. Patience also protects us from despair. Many people give up because they measure their progress too quickly. They meditate for a week, but their minds are still noisy. They exercise for a month, but their bodies do not yet change. They study for a season, but mastery feels far away. And so they quit, thinking they have failed. But the truth is, they quit just before the roots could reach the water. Patience says, stay, trust, keep going. It is not that your effort is wasted, it is that results take time to blossom. One of the hidden gifts of patience is that it teaches humility. When you are patient, you accept that you do not control the entire process. You cannot force a flower to bloom faster, nor can you command your soul to heal instantly. You do your part, you plant, you water, you nurture. But the unfolding belongs to something larger than yourself. This humility softens the ego, reminding us that we are part of a greater rhythm, not its master. Patience also deepens compassion, for yourself and for others. When you learn to give yourself time to grow, you stop judging others for their pace. You begin to see that everyone carries invisible struggles. Just as your growth takes longer than you wished, so does theirs. This shared understanding creates gentleness, a kindness that nourishes connection instead of comparison. Let me offer an image. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you stare at the peak and demand to be there instantly, you will be crushed by frustration. But if you focus on the next steady step, if you allow yourself to breathe with the climb, patience transforms the mountain into a path. And before long, step by step, you look up and realize you are higher than you thought. So let me ask you, where in your life are you tempted to give up too soon? Can you offer yourself the gift of patience, trusting that unseen growth is happening even now? Remember, the bamboo spends years growing roots underground before it suddenly shoots up into the sky. Your progress may be hidden today, but patience ensures that when the moment is right, your growth will rise swiftly and strong. As we continue this journey, hold this close. Patience is not weakness. It is the quiet courage to stay steady, to trust the unseen, and to walk faithfully until the fruit of your effort appears. From patience, we discovered that growth is not about rushing, but about trusting the journey. Yet there is another step that deepens this trust, one that often feels the hardest of all: releasing our grip. And so, with this awareness, we will now move into the next section of the video, the freedom of letting go. Letting go is not weakness, and it is not avoidance. It is the art of loosening the chains of control we so often place on ourselves and others. Many of us walk through life trying to shape every outcome, predict every turn, and guarantee every result. But life, in its vastness, will never bend completely to our will. The more we tighten our grip, the more fragile we feel. The paradox is that freedom comes not from holding tighter, but from opening our hands. When we let go, we are not abandoning responsibility. We are not saying, "I don't care." Instead, we are choosing to care differently. We shift our focus from what lies outside our control, the reactions of others, the twists of fortune, the storms of circumstance, to what is within us, our responses, our resilience, our inner clarity. This subtle change lifts an immense burden from the heart. Think of a river. The water does not fight the rocks, it flows around them. It doesn't resist the banks, it shapes them gently with time. The river does not cling to yesterday's rain or tomorrow's drought. It moves only with what is present. In the same way, letting go is learning to flow, not by force, but by trust. But how do we practice this? One way is to notice when anxiety grows heavy on your chest. Ask yourself, what here can I truly control? Often, the list is short. Perhaps you cannot change what someone thinks of you, but you can change the compassion you show yourself. You cannot stop the seasons, but you can choose how to walk through them. Each time you release the illusion of control, you create space for peace, for creativity, for presence. Letting go also means loosening expectations. How often do we suffer? Not because of what is, but because of what we thought should be. We hold rigid pictures in our minds of how life, relationships, or even ourselves must appear. When reality does not match those pictures, disappointment arises. But the moment we set those pictures down, we discover something profound. Life, as it is, contains a quiet beauty we could not see before. There is also forgiveness in letting go, not only of others, but of ourselves. Many people carry years of regret like heavy stones in a backpack. Each mistake, each failure, each word unsaid becomes another weight. But forgiveness is the act of setting down those stones. It is not erasing the past, but allowing it to rest. Only then can we walk forward with lightness. And perhaps the most important part of letting go is realizing that we were never meant to carry everything alone. Sometimes the universe asks us to surrender, not as defeat, but as alignment. To let go is to trust that even when we release our hold, we are still held by something greater, by time, by love, by life itself. So today, ask yourself gently, what am I still gripping that no longer serves me? A failed plan, an old anger, a vision of perfection? Whatever it is, picture yourself placing it down. Feel the breath move more freely in your chest. Feel the heart ease open, just a little. This is not the end of effort, but the beginning of freedom. From letting go, we learn that freedom is not in control, but in release, not in resistance, but in trust. And yet, life asks us for more. It asks us not only to let go, but also to flow with what comes. That is why we will now move into the next section of the video, the power of adaptability. Adaptability is the gentle strength of those who know how to bend without breaking, how to shift without losing themselves. Life as we know is unpredictable. Plans carefully drawn may collapse in an instant, and paths we thought were straight may twist into turns we never expected. In such moments, rigidity becomes our enemy. But adaptability, this ability to adjust and respond with openness, is what allows us not only to survive, but to grow. Think about nature. A tree that stands too stiff will snap in the storm, but one that sways with the wind endures. The same is true in our own lives. Those who cling tightly to "this must be the way" often suffer the most when change arrives. But those who remain open, curious, and willing to adjust find new opportunities hidden inside disruption. Adaptability is not the same as giving up on your goals. It does not mean abandoning your vision. Instead, it means allowing your methods to change while your values remain steady. Imagine sailing across the sea. The destination is clear, but the winds shift. If you cling to one fixed path, you may never arrive. But if you adjust your sails, you can use the very winds of change to carry you forward. In daily life, adaptability shows up in countless small ways. Perhaps you planned your career to unfold in one direction, but unexpected circumstances asked you to pivot. Perhaps you dreamed of relationships unfolding a certain way, but reality shaped them differently. Perhaps your health, your resources, or your environment shifted suddenly. In all these cases, the power lies not in resisting the change, but in responding with creativity and resilience. Adaptability also requires humility, the ability to admit, I don't know everything and I don't have to. Too often we hold on to rigid beliefs because they give us a sense of control. But life invites us to keep learning, to keep unlearning, and to stay open to possibilities we cannot yet see. This humility is not weakness. It is wisdom in action. Another part of adaptability is emotional flexibility. Change is rarely comfortable. It often stirs fear, grief, or frustration. But if we allow those emotions to move through us without getting stuck, they can become stepping stones rather than obstacles. To be adaptable is to acknowledge your feelings, honor them, and still choose to move forward with courage. So how do we cultivate adaptability? We start by practicing small shifts. Try approaching a problem from a different angle. When plans go wrong, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What now?" See each disruption not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Over time, this mindset becomes a habit, and this habit becomes a strength. There is a quiet beauty in adaptability. It allows us to participate fully in life without being broken by it. We can release what no longer works, embrace what emerges, and walk forward with steady hearts. This is not about being passive, but about being responsive. It is not about drifting aimlessly, but about dancing with change. So the next time life surprises you, and it will, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what is this moment asking me to adjust? And then with gentleness, make that shift. In that choice, you will discover that adaptability is not only a survival skill, it is a doorway to freedom, creativity, and lasting growth. Resilience is not about pretending you are unbreakable. It is not about forcing a smile when your heart is aching. True resilience embraces vulnerability. It allows you to grieve, to cry, to feel the depth of your wounds. And then, when the time is right, to step forward with renewed strength. The lotus flower blooms from the mud, not in spite of it. In daily life, cultivating resilience can begin with small practices. When you make a mistake, instead of judging yourself harshly, pause and ask what lesson is hidden within. When challenges arise, try shifting your self-talk from "why me" to "what can I learn from this?" Over time, this gentle shift creates a mindset that no longer fears failure, but welcomes it as part of growth. Resilience is also deeply connected with community. Standing alone in hardship can feel unbearable, but when we lean on others, we borrow strength until we find our own again. Sharing our struggles does not make us weak. It binds us together in the shared truth of being human. Just as a single flame may flicker in the wind, but many flames together create a steady light, so too does resilience grow when we walk through trials alongside others. And perhaps the most beautiful part of resilience is that it transforms not only you, but also the way you inspire those around you. Each time you rise again, you remind others that they can too. Each scar becomes a story of courage. Each comeback a spark of hope for someone else walking their own difficult road. So the next time you fall, and you will, because to live is to stumble, remember this: resilience is already within you. It is the quiet voice that says, "Get up, try again, grow from this." And with each rise, you are not simply returning to where you were before, you are becoming someone wiser, stronger, and more deeply alive. As we reach this final part of our journey, let us take a pause and breathe together. We have spoken of awareness, discipline, consistency, patience, letting go, adaptability, and resilience. Each has been a stepping stone on the path of inner strength and growth. Yet there is one more light that makes all the others shine brighter, one final thread that ties them together in harmony. Now we shall walk into the final content of today's video, the gentle but profound practice of gratitude. Gratitude may appear simple, even ordinary, but it is a power that quietly transforms the way we live. When you wake up and whisper "thank you" for the gift of another day, something shifts within. The heart softens, the mind finds ease. Gratitude does not require you to wait for extraordinary achievements. Instead, it teaches us to notice the small blessings: fresh air filling your lungs, a kind smile from a stranger, the warmth of sunlight on your skin. These simple moments, often overlooked, become treasures when we see them through the lens of thankfulness. Unlike ambition, which often pushes us toward the next thing, gratitude roots us in the present. It balances the restless striving of life with a deep sense of contentment. To be grateful is not to stop growing, but to grow with peace. It whispers, "You already have enough. You are already enough." From that place of fullness, we can still chase dreams, but without the constant hunger that drains the soul. Gratitude also heals the weight of comparison. In a world where we are endlessly shown what others have, gratitude draws our gaze back to what is already in our hands. It does not deny ambition, but protects us from bitterness. When we thank life for even the smallest things, a shared laugh, a meal, a moment of rest, we begin to realize that joy is not something distant or reserved only for the future. It is here, now, waiting to be noticed. The practice of gratitude deepens our relationships as well. To say thank you sincerely is to acknowledge another person's gift, time, or presence. It tells them, I see you, I value you. This creates bonds stronger than any transaction. Families thrive when gratitude flows freely. Friendships endure when appreciation is spoken often. Even within ourselves, gratitude becomes a gentle voice, reminding us to honor the journey we've walked, instead of only criticizing the steps we've stumbled. But the truest strength of gratitude is how it reshapes our inner world. It keeps us grounded when life is overwhelming and lifts us when shadows grow long. Gratitude is not about ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it gives us eyes to see the beauty that coexists with the struggle. It is the reminder that even in storms, there are moments of light, sometimes as simple as the rain that nourishes the earth. As we bring this journey to a close, I invite you to take one simple step. Pause right now and recall one thing you are grateful for. Hold it gently in your heart. Breathe it in. Feel how it shifts your energy, even slightly. This is the quiet revolution gratitude brings, not through force, but through presence. And so, as you carry forward awareness, discipline, consistency, patience, letting go, adaptability, and resilience, let gratitude be the foundation beneath it all. It does not shout, it does not demand, but it holds the power to keep your spirit light, your mind at peace, and your heart open to every step of the path ahead. This is where our journey today ends, but truly it is also where it begins. Because gratitude is not the closing of a chapter, it is the lens through which every new chapter becomes more radiant. And so we have arrived at the end of this journey through the 8 principles: awareness, discipline, consistency, patience, letting go, adaptability, resilience, and gratitude. And each one on its own holds power. But when they are woven together, they form a circle of wisdom, a compass that can guide us through the chaos of life toward a place of balance, freedom, and lasting growth. Think of it this way. Awareness awakens your eyes, discipline strengthens your will, consistency builds your foundation, patience steadies your heart, letting go frees your spirit, adaptability keeps you flowing, resilience helps you rise, and gratitude fills you with light. When these 8 live together in harmony, you do not merely survive life, you learn how to truly live it. This is not just philosophy, it is a path, a practice, a daily return to the truth that you already carry within. Life will always bring storms, but when you hold these 8 principles close, storms no longer shatter you. They shape you. They remind you that even in difficulty, there is meaning, and even in silence, there is strength. Now I invite you to pause. Place your hand gently over your heart. Feel its rhythm, steady, constant, alive. This heartbeat is proof that you are here, in this moment, carrying within you everything you need to take the next step. Let that realization sink in. You are already equipped, already enough. But before you go, I ask you to take one powerful step with me. Do not let this message fade into the background of another day. Carry it forward, make it alive. Type the word alive in the comments right now. Let it be your promise to yourself and your lantern for others who are walking the same path. Like this video so the wisdom can travel further. Subscribe and ring the bell so you will not miss the next journey we will take together. Because each video will be another step, another breath, another flame in the circle of light. And share this video with someone you love so the circle continues to grow. This is not just my voice. This is our community, our shared silence, our collective resilience. Join in, be part of the circle, and let us walk together into what comes next.